As the Egghead Island arc is hurtling towards its finale, Oda has dropped hints about its epic conclusion, and with Kuma and Jewellery Bonney's compelling flashback, the climax is in sight. While Oda holds the key to the ending, we explore a major theory on how the Egghead Island saga might conclude. The very first thing that One Piece currently has to tackle is the flashback of Kuma and Bonney. There were quite a lot of mysteries that needed to be answered pertaining to these two characters. However, as all these questions are answered and we finally have clarity regarding the character of Kuma, the story will return to the current timeline. For those who do not remember the current timeline, the characters are facing a very dire situation. Saturn has taken his powerful devil fruit form and he's currently on the verge of killing Bonney. One by one, he's going to start executing all of the members of the Straw Hat Pirates as well, and Luffy, who is Nika, is a big thorn in his side. This disaster will most definitely be averted by Kuma himself, who will become the hero once again and save everyone. First of all, he's going to save his own daughter from Saturn. Kuma barely has any memories left and he certainly does not know what he's doing. However, it is possible that he could have something pre-programmed in his body that allows him to save Bonney from imminent death, just as he protected the Sunny during the time skip. From there onwards, Kuma will have even bigger roles in the Egghead Island arc. We will likely see him join the fight against the Marines and the Celestial Dragon, Saturn. Of course, Kuma doesn't have it in him to defeat any of those characters by himself, and this is even harder for him with one of his legs missing and half of his face burnt off by Akainu. However, Kuma can save the day in a different way. Kuma always wanted to be the savior of people, just like the warrior of liberation. In fact, Nika was his idol while growing up, and he believes that Nika will one day save him and all the slaves, and bring a smile to their faces. This is why Kuma will spend whatever energy he has in trying to save Luffy. Now, one might wonder how he will accomplish this, and the answer to that is very simple. Kuma has the power of the Nikyu no Mi. He will use the power of his devil fruit to bring out all of Luffy's pain and take it one last time. This will likely devastate Kuma and damage him even further. However, this will heal Luffy back to full strength and give him the opportunity to take center stage as the sun god Nika. Kuma himself will likely not die, since he believes that he will be saved by Nika one day, and Luffy will absolutely not let him die and would then have to fight against Saturn, and in the process, save Kuma as well as Bonney. Once Luffy returns to power, the Egghead Island arc will then hit its climax, which should mean that the biggest of fights are going to be unfolding in the arc. Of course, the grand spectacle of the arc is going to be Luffy vs Saturn, and there will also be minor fights, such as Lucci vs Zoro, and potentially a weakened Kizaru vs Sanji. These fights are going to be focused on quite a lot, and we need to know what role Jewellery Bonney is to play in all of this. Of course, being a pivotal point in this plotline, Bonney cannot simply sit by. We will have to see what story role she ends up taking care of, and it will be interesting to see which way Oda goes with her character. Regardless, the main focus is going to be Luffy vs Saturn, and that is a fight that we absolutely would love to see. Of course, Saturn is incredibly powerful, however, so is Luffy, and he still has a lot left to show. In his fight against Kizaru, he certainly showcased his tremendous strength, but everyone knows that Luffy did not go all out. He has stronger techniques that he hasn't utilized in the fight against Kizaru, and those might be shown when he takes on Saturn in combat. At the same time, we should also remember that there are 30,000 Marines surrounding Egghead Island, and a siege that cannot be broken by just the members of the Straw Hat crew alone. This is where the Iron Giant comes into play. The Iron Giant is powered by an ancient energy source, and it was revealed recently that this energy source is none other than Luffy himself. The drums of liberation that he channeled throughout the island when he turned into his giant form were enough to power up the Iron Giant and get it to awaken. The Iron Giant has not completely gotten up yet. However, when Luffy takes on Gear 5 once again, that is when the Iron Giant is going to be fully charged up and rises. The Iron Giant will then play the role of Vegaforce, and that is to secure an escape for the Straw Hat Pirates after the dust settles. The first job that the Iron Giant will have will be to take care of the Navy siege. We should expect the Iron Giant to break through the complete siege that is surrounding Egghead Island. Once the siege is broken by the Iron Giant, the Marines will have no option but to admit their defeat or to retreat. What happens to the members of the Marines depends completely on how Oda wants this event to go. However, we should not expect them to win at any cost. From there onward, the end of the Egghead Island arc will likely begin. This is where the Egghead incident would take place. Simply put, the Egghead incident will entail the defeat of Saturn, which is a shocking and groundbreaking event for the entire world, and at the same time, the crushing of the Marines. A fleet much stronger than the Buster Call would then be crushed by the Straw Hat Pirates, where the Iron Giant will secure an escape for the Straw Hat Pirates, and Kuma and Bonney will both be rescued along with Vegapunk as well. The Straw Hats will also successfully leave the island and head toward Elbaf. At the same time, we should not forget that the Blackbeard Pirates are looming around the island themselves. Their own will likely come at the very end of the arc, and it could be for stealing powerful devil fruits or taking charge of something that Vegapunk has developed for himself. Either the Blackbeard Pirates will steal some sort of power, such as the Mother Flame, or they will likely take in Saturn and Kizaru, who would have been defeated by Luffy and the Straw Hat Pirates as captives. At this point, that is likely how the Egghead Island is predicted to conclude according to us. Well, what do you guys think about the end of Egghead Island Arc? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section below. And that's it for today. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I also asked you to subscribe to help us. It will also help us to grow more, and if you like, please subscribe.